Hi, my name is Gal. I'm the community manager at Apillon. You may already know the Apillon platform. We provide you, the Web3 developer, with an easy, well-documented set of tools that you can use to build your next Web3 project and focus on what matters, to build it and to scale it. If you've been following the social media in the last few months, you know that AI and MCPs are the latest hype. So in today's video, we will talk about what MCPs are in general, what Opulence MCP server is and what functions it provides, and how to start using it today within the context of Claude Desktop. MCP is an open protocol that standardizes how applications talk to LLMs and provide context to them so that LLMs can get access to functions and real-time data, something that wouldn't otherwise be possible using just their training data. So let's see the Opulence specific MCP server implementation up next. We're now on GitHub. This is a public repository that we have provided and is available to you for free. All you will need to have in order to use the MCP server and the tools it defines is an Apillon account. So you can now see that if we scroll down a little bit, you have a general introduction on MCPs once again, then you have project overview, and then we go into specifying which specific tools we have enabled for you. The tooling is divided into the storage module, the hosting module, and the NFT module. And then we also provide a section on how to use it with Claude. But if you're more of a visual learner, such as myself, it's probably good that we walk through this one step by step. So we're now on the Claude website, claude.ai, and I've set up a completely brand new and fresh account. And the reason I wanted to do that is so that I can show you that if you look at like the chat history, there are no previous chats with Claude, and Claude doesn't really know much about Apillon at the moment. But by simply using the MCP server that we have written, you can now give Claude additional tooling so that it not only understands what Apillon provides, but also can do some of these steps for you. So we're going to switch tabs again, and we're now on the claude.ai/download, and this is where you can find the desktop application versions for your operating system of choice. So you have macOS, Windows, and Windows ARM. You can download binaries and then install the applications into your own system. Currently, Claude does not provide access to MCP tooling within their web interface, so this is something we just have to do in order to be able to use Opulence MCP server. So I've now switched tabs, and I am in the desktop version of Claude. And just for fun, we're going to do an experiment right now. So we're going to say, what is up? Remember, we haven't set anything up, so Claude may be able to provide some information, and it does. It's pretty good and specific that way. But when we are trying other things, can you help me upload a file to Apillon using the storage module? Realistically, Claude can help us understand, and he can even provide specific pieces from our documentation, but it's still going to take some code. So now we're going to do it a little differently. Before we go and add MCP tooling within the context of Claude Desktop, so before we start using Opulence MCP server, we have to make sure that we have a few things. One thing that we need is an Apillon account. And once the account is created, I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to go to configuration. I'm going to go to API keys, and I'll create a new key for myself. So by clicking generate new key, I will have to give this API key a name. And just for the sake of this demo, let's call it Claude LLM. And then since I've already had some of these keys enabled for various services, these appear on top. Now, if you haven't ever created any keys for any of the services, realistically, those might also appear as big yellow buttons, such as you see here with authentication. Now, once we've attached the storage service and picked all the permissions that you needed, we just need to scroll down and click generate. And that's going to generate our API keys that we're going to need to make sure that we can connect to Apillon. You will see the API key and the API secret, and those will be, of course, different to you. And I will rotate these keys so that I'm sure that after this video is published, you're not able to access my own account. Let me follow the prompt and save my API and API secret. I'll copy it right there, and the API key stays visible to you at all times, so that's fine. I've saved the API secret, and here you go. You have a new key for the Apillon platform. Now, according to the Apillon documentation, you will still need Node and NPM on your machine though. So we can check now if we have Node installed, and we have it at version 22, which is the minimum version needed to run the Apillon's MCP server. And we'll also do the same for NPM, so npm-v, and that should give us 11.4, which is more than the 11 that is needed for us to run the Apillon's MCP server. Now our keys are created, and we have Claude installed on our desktop. So the last thing we need to do is we're going to scroll down all the way to the MCP server config, and we're going to copy it so that we don't need to look for it later. So this is where we left off when we were running the previous questions about Apillon on Claude. Now we're going to go to Claude, and we're going to go to settings. And the first thing you're about to see is there's a developer tab right here. You're going to click that, and that it shows that currently we do not have anything installed within our local services. So we're going to click edit config, and that will pop up a Finder window, and that Finder window is already going to have Claude Desktop config JSON open and ready for us to edit. So we're going to do that now. I will double click, and that should open Claude Desktop config in my favorite editor of choice. So as you now see, we've now entered the Claude Desktop config, and currently it's empty. So nothing is in there, and we're just going to simply select everything, and we're going to throw in the configuration that is specified within the Apillon's GitHub config. Let me briefly walk you through those commands. So right now we're defining two MCP servers, or two MCP server namespaces to be exact. One is the file system. It's something we do not control, but it's a very useful tool, and it's going to allow us to do some of the cool things we're about to do today in this tutorial. The other section is the Apillon MCP server, and you can see the command it uses, what it fetches, and then there's a place for you to add your Apillon API key and API secret, which we've generated earlier. So the last thing I want to do before I actually fill in those keys is I will change your username to my own username like this, and then I will also say Apillon video folder. And that's it. We're going to save now, and then we have to restart Claude Desktop. So Claude Desktop needs that restart so that it can register the tools needed for it to run. So we're going to go here to search and tools, and you will see two spaces were added. One is the file system, and the other is the Apillon MCP server. And now we're going to use Claude Desktop in a chat context and ask it to do some things for us. Can you help me access my Apillon storage? And now Claude's going to think, and it's firing off. It's identified that probably he needs to list the buckets within the Apillon platform. And now it sees that I have one storage bucket called Swash Bucket in my Apillon account, and it's currently empty. So right now, I would like to take a file called on Apillon.webp from my local hard drive and upload it to Swashbucket. And now, right now, it's prompting me to access my file system. I will say yes, sure, access it right now. And now it's uploading the file. It's getting a response back. And now my file, hop on Apillon WebP, has been successfully uploaded to my bucket. So would you like me to list all the objects in your bucket to confirm the upload? Sure. Please list the files currently available in Swashbucket. Allow once is going to show me the bucket UUID and then also listing the file that's there. So we'll grab the access link right now, copy it, and we will go to our browser. And we're back in our browser. I'm going to press paste and enter, and here it is. The hop on Apillon image we've had on our local drive has now successfully been uploaded to Apillon using Claude. I hope you had fun, and will continue to have fun using Apillon to build your Web3 projects the simple and easy way. Thank you. Bye.